Everybody, this is Brother Beard. I'm gonna be talking in my channel about the video games that I believe are worth installing on your mobile devices. I have been playing this game for over 4 years, and you probably know it's Raid Shadow Legends. And I'll tell you why I do enjoy this game so much. Now, first of all, they do have rotations of events that are they happen very often. There's always something going on. So, for example, right now we have the opportunity to get this champion called the Incarnate. I mean, look at the level of details that they have put into the creation of those characters. Every single character has a very unique set of skills. And in the game, I believe there's over 700 champions. And these are all the factions that you can choose from. And they're just so well done. I mean, look at this. This is a mobile game. And like I said, I've been playing this for over 4 years. And I do enjoy the fact that it gives you so much in terms of personalization of your characters. So, for example, this one right here, a mythical champion. This is something that they released not too long ago, and it's basically champions that have the ability to choose a secondary form, and in this case, she becomes Creepy Spider, but she has skills that are different for each form. Now, based on those skills, you're going to choose the artifacts that you're going to be using for that champion. And look at how many artifacts you can choose from. Now, there is not a lot of control on the quality of artifacts that you'll be getting. But of course, as you progress into the game, you'll be able, like for example, here in the dungeons, I mean, just look at how many things you can do right here. For example, the dragon, there is normal mode, there's a hard mode, and on stage 10 of the hard mode, you'll have the chance to get 5 to 6 stars artifacts that can go all the way from rare, which is the blue ones, to epics, which are the purple ones, to legendary and mythical ones. Now, mythicals basically give you the opportunity not to just only have 4 extra substats, but one of them will have an increased value. And for example, right here, this one here has a substat speed, which is really important because it allows for your champion to go before the enemy. And especially in the arena, this is a key stat to have. You can have somebody in the arena that has 10,000 times more attack than you, but if he doesn't get to go before you and you get to debuff them, stun them, attack them, you actually can win a game with just that one extra speed. And right here, when you see what I mean by speed, right here, 291, it's a decent speed. Of course, you can do better, but you know, it's something that takes time. It's not something that I just logged into the game and on day one I was able to complete this stage 10. It takes time. This is definitely not the game that you will be completing within a few weeks of playing. It took me 4 years. I've had a pretty big window of not playing the game because of challenges in real life, but the fact that I can come back and still enjoy all the content that they release, it's fun. It's interesting. They released this cursed city that allows you for every single level to basically utilize a reduced pool of the champions that you have. So this will allow for you to adjust and to do things a little bit differently. So for example, in this case, I can only use champions from those specific factions, and it gives you the opportunity to refresh. And I'll show you this one level, for example. It will give you the opportunity to refresh on some of the abilities of some of the heroes that you'll probably not be using because of whatever you believe it's not worth it, or you got some more powerful champions. So basically, this means that there's always a very interesting, challenging side to the game. So this is speed one, because I want you to see at the quality even of the skills. Like every single characters, you can notice they have a very unique animation for the skills that they use. But then, of course, once you are used to it, you can just double up on speed and get to clear the level a little bit faster. And you can see on top of those enemies, there is either debuffs, and look at all the debuffs and buffs that the game has to offer. I mean, there is so much going on. This is definitely a game where you're gonna have to think. And what's fun about it is that sometimes you can get stuck somewhere. Like, for example, boom, me on the Doom Tower. This is content that has a rotation that it's pretty challenging. I'm not gonna lie. I have had a big problem passing this level right here. You can see the boss guide. There is a very detailed description of all the skills that the boss has. And there's also some suggestions. But I just thought that I did not have the right champions for this. And go to find out, thanks Ash, by the way. He's another content creator. Really, really good. I highly recommend you go check him out. He made me look into this champion that I had sitting into my vault for a long time, thinking, I don't really think that I need to power her up. But then right here, this passive heals the champion 50% of their max HP whenever an ally or an enemy die. So, boom, that one passive was the key to completing this stage. I mean, it's crazy. The fact that you can complete things based on so many options, it's what really makes me love the game. You can personalize your champions in a very unique way, and there's also masteries. I mean, look at all the opportunities that you have. You can decide to go offense, defense, support, and artifacts. There's like literally, look at that. There's hundreds of thousands of ways to do your champion. For example, this right here is a character that they released not too long ago, and he was free to receive just by logging into the game. And this right here is a very powerful game that you will see in the arena very often, because he has a very unique set of skills. And for example, you can decide, do you want him to be real fast so that he takes the first turn, or do you want him to be real slow so that he can die because he has a passive that allows him to come back to life with a full turn meter so that he can deal extreme amount of damage? Or do you want it with a lot of accuracy so that he can use this skill right here where he steals all the buffs from the enemy? I mean, there's so many options. And you can see here, the community is pretty large. There's a lot of people playing this game. There's a lot of content creator about the game that will always give you some advice on how to complete things. There's daily challenges, weekly challenges, monthly challenges, advanced challenges. There's missions. The opportunity for you to get rewards are everywhere. Also, there's tournaments that have a rotation, and they have a lot of rewards that can be accomplished without having to pay money. Now, the one thing about this game, you have to be smart about the resources that you receive. So, for example, here I have those shards. I'm not just going to use them for no reason. So, even though this is a very powerful champion, this one right here is a 15 chance to get this champion right here if I was to summon a legendary champion. So that means that if I was to use this item right here, which is a very rare item to get in game, I have a 6% chance to get a legendary. Now, in that 6% chance, once I summon a legendary, I have 15 times more chances to get that specific champion compared to all the others. Now, if you look at the index, these are all the legendaries just for this faction right here. And they're pretty much the same amount for each faction. So that means that you have 15 extra chances. You can see those that are not highlighted. Those are all the champions that I don't have. And like I said, I've been playing this for a long time, but it takes time. And I enjoy the fact that every single day I get a little bit stronger, and it gives me the opportunity to complete the content that it's a little bit more difficult. And this is what keeps me going. I enjoy it because there's a lot of automation in the game. For example, right here, I can run this spider den, and I can say, okay, run it, boom, and I can go and do what I need to do in the house while the game is running in the background on my phone. And now, because I have a Samsung device with the Android, I can actually make a pop-up screen of the game so that I can even use the phone to do other things while the game in the background is running. So that's a little fun thing that I really enjoy. And right here you can see I am literally not doing anything. I have set up the team, and I'll show you in a second, because every single one of those champions has a set of skills that the AI will use in a sequence that believes is the best one for this run. But you can change it. You can make a specific skill go before another one. And I mean, just look at the quality of the animations. It's a lot of fun. I do enjoy this game a lot because once, for example, in this dungeon, once you complete it, there's an opportunity for you to get an accessory that can be for this specific level. It can be 5-star, or it can be 6 stars, and it can be rare, it can be epic, it can be legendary, it can be mythical. Now, if you get the mythical, that's extremely lucky. But then you have to be lucky in the rolls of the substats that you get, of the primary stats. So there's so many layers of the game that just makes it fun and challenging at the same time. Sometimes frustrating, but you know what? It's part of the game, and that's what makes growing your heroes a very interesting and rewarding experience. Because, for example, that one item that I showed you with 3 rolls on speed with a mythical bonus, that was a really, really happy moment. Right here we have a legendary, which is good. It's an HP amulet, which has resistance in it, defense, and crit damage. Now, I do love resistance on my HP champions because they are most likely not going to go first in your team. So having high resistance basically allows for them to resist the opponent placing a debuff on you. And like, for example, you can have a very strong defense champion, but then boom, there it goes. There's a champion right here that just has a skill that, boom, it breaks down your defense by 60%. and all of your defense is basically worthless. So it's very important to have resistance in order to counter that specific debuff that can totally destroy your champion no matter how tanky he is. And the same thing goes all the way around. You can have a champion that relies on that placing decreased defense, and once they don't place that debuff, they're gonna lose, because the moment you get to place your turn, you can deal a lot of damage, because champions like, for example, this one right here, they don't have a lot of HP. And like, for example, this one right here, you see she has a total HP of 36,000, and my tanky champion has a total HP of 88,000. Now there's a lot of changes that I need to do on this, but for example here, I went for the artifact set that allows for the champion to have immunity from debuffs for the first 2 turns. And this is something that in Arena is really important. But again, so many ways to personalize your champions. There's a lot of inside ways of powering your champions even more. There's a great hall that basically every single time you win in the arena, you can upgrade specific stats for the affinities, which you see it's 4 different types of affinity. There's champions that are from the Force affinity. You see this little icon right here that basically tells you which affinity they are. The most valuable, in my opinion, are the Void champions, because they don't really have debuffs from attacking or receiving damage from all the other champions. Like, for example, some of the champions they're stronger against other champions from a specific affinity, and that makes the game interesting, especially in the tag team arena, where you get to face an enemy's team. There's 3 enemy teams, and every single team that every player will be putting, if you look at those, they're always different. You can see their power, but not always power will tell you what really it means, because some people can have really low power but extremely high speed, and they just get to go before you and boom, you're done. So when you look at all these things, you'll have to make a decision on which team am I going to bring to the fight. Like, for example, let's just try one little game right here. So on the left side, you see this is the teams that I have, and those are the champions that I decided to use out of all of these. And these right here is the enemy team. Now you'll see that little icon, the aura. Most of the champions have an aura that basically affects the stats of your entire team. And these are very important. In Arena, most likely the auras that you'll see in action are the speed auras, and that will make a big impact in your winning or losing, because of how many turns can you take before your enemy. I've seen teams that are able to take even 3 turns before I can take my turn. So for example, in this case, he's got all those turns before me, and boom, I got destroyed. But now on this turn, on this second team, I get to go first. And he was really lucky, because he placed a freeze on the champion that was going to take off the debuffs from them. So I'm going to probably lose this one as well. But we'll see. There's you never know. Sometimes there's like, for example, that little heart that you see on my champions that basically blocks the debuffs of the enemy. So by blocking those debuffs, there's a chance for me to actually win this. But let's see. So if you see, every single champion has a very unique set of skills, and those skills you get to choose based on what's happening. So for example, here revives all dead allies. Now I should be waiting for this one for when a champion is dead, but at the same time I get the feel of the turn meter. So I want to make sure that I go before the enemy goes. So that gives me the opportunity to maybe win this game. So let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to try to get this guy out of the way, because if he takes a turn, I am definitely not going to make it. And we are going to try to lord the reviver. You get to know those champions as you play. Now, it doesn't look good for me. So basically, I am going to move on to the next battle. And this right here, you can see it. The team did not have a very strong overall power, which is based on HP, damage, and all that. But he had a lot of speed, so his units were faster than mine, and he was lucky on placing a debuff that really changed the entire way the battle end out turning, because that one champion could have placed a debuff that was gonna make my damage be a lot more consistent and powerful, and it didn't happen. So out of 3 fights, I lost 2, I won 1, and you can see all the details. I really wish you could see this team right here. The very first team is actually a fun team if I do get my first turn, but I'll make more videos about it. And there's another area of the arena that they released, which is the live arena. So what you saw me doing in this part of the arena section is I was facing an enemy team that's a preset. So for example, here you can go and select the teams that will defend you while you're offline, or automatically. You can select how do you want those skills to be used. So even though somebody's going to be challenging your defensive team, the skills that your team will be using are going to be somewhat working the way you would like them to work. Now, in some cases, the skills that you'll be using if you were there would have been different, but there's a level of customization that's I appreciate. If you look at my battle log, I have lost 4 times, but I won 1 time, and this was without me looking and playing. Now there's this one right here is a live arena where you can actually face an opponent in real time. So the decisions that you make on the skills that you're going to be using are happening in real time. I'll show you one just for the fun of it. This has got a shorter amount of time that you can play it, so it gives you a little higher chances to have a lot of people connected, so that the waiting time to find an opponent is not that long. And you'll get to choose the champions, not all at once. It's like a draft. So for example, I'm the first one to go, so I get to pick my first champion, and then he gets to pick 2. And now based on the champions he's going to pick, I'm going to pick my champions. And this is what makes it fun, is that there's always ways that you have to think about what are you going to do to be successful. So for example, he has a reviver and he has a mythical champion right here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put this guy right here that takes away turn meter, and this lady right here that can stun everybody. And then you can notice that the mailman has arrived and the dogs are going wild. But for the next champions I'm going to be using for this battle, let's see, what am I going to use? I think I'm going to go for this guy right here. And probably I am going to go for this guy right here because I want to make sure that I get the speed aura. You see this one right here, that little running dude? That means there's a speed aura that will affect how quickly your champions are going to be taking a turn. So when you look at this guy's team, he has a lot of defensive revivers. It's a thick team, for the exception of that one right there. Those two, they're not too. Which one? You can get to ban one of the enemy team champions. I am gonna ban this one right here. Now, if they get the first turn, I am done. But now they banned my most powerful damage dealer. It's fine. Hopefully the rest of the team will be able. So for example, I get the first turn here, and you can see the yellow bars below their health bars. That's how much more they have left before they take their turn. So I have quite a faster team compared to them. I'll try to send that into a sheep, and then I'm gonna go back here, transform her, and stun more. So my team comp here on this one, it's a lot of stuns and a lot of resets of the cooldowns, and I'm gonna go again, steal more cooldown, and again I'm gonna reduce the bar of this guy. He's probably hating me right now because I'm basically not giving him the chance to place a single turn for his team. So I still have stuns, so there's no need to sleep them. I can land some venom, and boom, I will. I'll just put this one for the extra damage, and then I'm gonna refresh all my skills, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm taking your turn meter again, and I'm gonna put you again under stun." So this guy literally did not have the chance to place one turn, even though he had a very powerful champion in terms of defense. Little by little, I just you see he decided to quit. So this is why I love the game. You can literally win when all it really made the difference was the items that you had. So for example, when you look at this champion right here, why did I get the first turn? Because in 4 years of me playing the game, I was able to get him, and he's not crazy fast. There's people with a lot faster builds in this, but 356, it's decent. I gotta work on my accuracy because sometimes I'll try to land this skill right here where I put all the enemies to sleep for one turn, and that will literally change everything in the battle. But there's so many champions that can change everything. Like this one right here. This is a champion I wanna play with. Every single time he dies, he places 2 bombs, and bombs deal massive amount of damage on the enemy. And you can have a team where the entire team dies, and then you get this champion, for example, that will have a passive where he attacks if one of his team member dies. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much infinite, and that's why I love the game. I really have to say, well done, Plarium. The game does have, of course, they'll be trying to get you to buy stuff, and you know what? That's what they need to make more events. That's what they need to to keep the game fresh, to have high quality of the characters that they make. And there's a lot of thought into the characters, into the challenges. And I have to say, I've played this game a lot longer. And I hope I'll see you on. If you need a clan, let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe if you like this video. Show me some love. I like to make more videos and see that there's actual, some level of enjoyment by you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And bye.